Welcome to Lean Business Improvement Show, a show designed to give you the tools and techniques to remove waste from your business. Welcome to the Lean Business Improvement Show. Thank you for listening, and please, if you haven't already, subscribe, comment, share, like, you know the drill. As ever, I'm your host, Matthew Haddock, a lean expert with over 25 years experience within the field. If you haven't seen the first episode, please go back and have a look at the first one. But this is the second episode on your journey to becoming better tomorrow than you are today. Now, although we've talked about senior management involvement, and this show is going to be around how you can form a culture to get lean improvements into your business. And we'll talk a lot about senior management and owners' involvement, but please don't lose the sight that you can be the local change as well. So don't just think, oh, my managers don't bother, my leaders don't want it to happen, there's no point in doing it. Firstly, you should be doing it for yourself, because you make your departments or your processes better. It's going to be better for you. It's also going to be better for you in the longer run when you look at how you can improve and get better and also get noticed in the business. Or you decide to leave that business and move somewhere where your talents can be used. Now doing lean business improvements can be simple, but it's not easy. Now, I've worked in a number of big businesses who've just not got it right. It's not normally getting the principles over to people. You know, most sensible people will understand that they need to improve. You think of your own life, you know that you should be doing something. And they know that the change is needed. A lot of time, businesses that I've been in know they need to do something different. And the change itself will provide the business with real quality improvements. It'll mean that the customers get what they want. It will reduce waste. I mean, they understand the tools as well. A lot of time they understand the tools, they understand the techniques. They say, well, that's great, let's do it. But it just never gets there. It doesn't embed into the culture. I think the ideas are good, and that's brilliant. Everyone says, yeah, let's do it. But when it comes to the execution, it's the culture that fails. You know, in big businesses, that's mainly because it's done to you. It's sent down from the global or from high upon you. So if you're in a business that works in a large corporation, you'll see the fact that sometimes the actual idea gets lost because people are against it from day one. It's just something that, oh God, central needs us to do this. It's another global thing. Oh, what's the point? It won't work here. It loses momentum before it even gets there. What you got to think of it, if you use the analogy that it's, say, a tree. Let's say a plant, a living thing, a banana tree, if you like. You know, if you want to go with the fruit, because, you know, and you love bananas, you say, yes, I need it. And you get the seed or the small tree, and you think, yeah, this is brilliant. We're going to have bananas. This is going to be brilliant. But then what happens? You don't get the correct soil. You don't get the correct water. You leave it in the dark. And guess what? No bananas for you. It just doesn't happen because the idea's there. The implementation part is ready, but it fails. So what is the major thing that stops? Well, in my mind, it's culture. It's, you know, the culture is what happens when you're not there. Because the good thing about a good culture is that it will take and embrace ideas and drive it forward. It'll make it happen. But if the culture's wrong, and your soil's wrong, or you're too dark, or your water's too much, then it doesn't happen. A culture is the air around us. It's the DNA. It's what you don't even think around. Business is with a clean, lean mindset will foster the ideas of it being a good thing, and they'll make it happen. So where does it go wrong? Well, usually, as I said at the beginning, it can be the high level commitment to it, the high level change. If your general manager of your business or the owner just doesn't see necessarily the right thing to do, then it won't. It'll have the play around the edges approach. People will have a go, but it won't go any further. It'll start to fail before it is succeeded. In some of the industries I've worked in, it's seen as a bit of a fad. It's just something that's going to happen. There's no point in really committing to it. If we hang around a couple of months or even a couple of, quarters in a business sense, it'll go away. There's no need to put it on because, people will lose interest. It's just going to get turned off. It's just going to one of those things. Now, when you really do get a commitment and you get it at the top running through its business, you can make huge shifts. If you go back into the early 90s and you think of where the safety culture were back then, or the environmental culture, there wasn't any real drive for it to happen. They knew there was legislation, they knew that people needed to do it, but they didn't ever really get to implement it properly, because it's just something that happened. I remember being the most unsafe things ever when I was an apprentice. And looking back now, I wouldn't even dream of doing it. I can't believe we did. But it was a norm. It was the culture. The culture was set. Thankfully, it's changed. And in most senses, there's a real safety culture and environmental culture as well. But that's been driven by people making a big change, moving away from this idea of it doesn't matter to making it happen and making it matter. Especially in a small company. You've got to be able to be agile, you've got to be able to pivot. So you need to make sure that you are doing what you say you're going to do. And if the owner or small business owner or small manager says one thing but does another, it will fail. So firstly, the decision makers, they need to make the call. They need to start that commitment. Yeah, of course, as I said, back in the day, it was easy to just say, oh, well, we are going to do lean. You put a couple of boards up and it'll be fine. But realistically, it was never going to embed. And as soon as the people took their eye off it, it would disappear. It wouldn't really happen. So the leaders set clear direction. That is the big thing. They build and develop the right team that's going to do that. And then they set behaviours and expectations. So if you expect people to do a process, which is lean, and you work through a project, then you monitor it, you look at it, you make it happen, you put it at the front of your agenda. If you go back to the safety ideas, working with businesses that are safe, if you go into a business that's safe, usually, always, in fact, not usually, the first thing on any meeting will be safety. Let's talk about any accidents, any near misses, what do we need to deal with? And then, obviously, they go into the operations or the finance or the customer service. If you put lean up there as the second thing on your agenda and you make it important as a leader, then you are setting behaviours and setting expectations. And obviously, you need to lead with an optimistic and real positive view of change. So how do you actually do it? We've talked around this why of culture. How do you become it? Well, if you are a business owner, you need to ask, learn, and think about how that's going to work for you. There's tons of stuff out there. There's free online courses. There's courses with very little value to them. A couple of quid here and there, 10, 15 pound, even up to 50. Nothing much for you to actually get a real base for it. You can reach out to a number of people who would happily help you. Obviously myself. If you wish to reach out to me at managermattconsulting@gmail.com, then I will answer any questions you want around starting the culture and how you can do it. And then you maybe need to invest. You've got to invest in learning. So you need to get yourself some people who are interested, maybe if you are a business leader and haven't got the time. If it is you and you really want to commit to the company and you want to commit to this journey, then you sign up, you do the course. However, it will take time, but the payback will be massive. And then you build a plan. Funnily enough, that's episode 3, building plans, so hang around for that. If you're not head of a business, if you're not head of a department, don't worry. You have got choices to make yourself. You can become the knowledge for that company. You can drive it at your local level. You can become the change. And that's all by getting the knowledge, getting out there, getting the free ones. Put a search into YouTube. Put a search into anything, into your Google, and you'll see lean business improvement techniques out there that you can get yourself into. Or, as I say, invest a small piece of money in some online courses, or just ask me. I'm always willing to help. So that's episode 2. We're looking at culture. How do we make culture stick? To make a lean business, you need to invest yourself in making it happen. You need to make it as important as your safety, as your customers, as your delivery, as your money. And you need to make sure that you are really on the journey and committing. And as I said, if you need any advice and help, there's more episodes to follow on here. Or, of course, you can reach out to me at the email and links below. Well, that's it for this episode. Please stick around, and I hope to see you in the next. For now, goodbye.